Right, everyone. So Nia Jax warned the WWE Universe and praised this WWE star. Here's what she said. Well, you should be scared of Jacob. Jacob is a legit killer. Anybody needs to be worried about him, and he's one of the most talented human beings I've ever seen step into a ring. One of my favorite stories is when, that when he was going through his troubles and was watching the boys on TV and changing his life around. Look at him. He had the opportunity and he took it upon himself to get better. And look where he is now. He's probably at the top, almost to the top actually. Like I have nothing but great things to say about him. And when I watch him, I'm always in awe of what he does. But tough to argue here with Nia Jax. I mean, Jacob Fatu has taken the WWE by storm, and it's to the point now where he could be a reasonable match against Roman Reigns at some point, like as a one on one competitor. And it happened quick. And the beauty of it is the fans are behind it. The fans are, it's like, even though he's definitely a heel, the fans love his character. And you could tell that like, they're like, I know we're not supposed to be cheering for this guy, but depending on who he's fighting against, you know, we're going to cheer for him. So I think there's a lot of room to grow with Jacob Fatu. And it's because WWE, not only did they tell the Bloodline storyline so well, but they told his story so well. They, you know, made him look like a badass. They had him attacking everybody. They had him as the enforcer, and he's good at promos. There are just so many little things that he's done that I think deserve just a ton of credit. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, everyone. So Bailey and Lyra Valkyra, they went head to head with Bailey getting the win. Now they've teased another match. So Bailey tweeted out, "Thank you, Real Valkyra. Can I have another?" Raw on Netflix. Lyra responded saying, "Counting on it." So look, Bailey's in a weird spot. Bailey is obviously a main eventer, right? And right now, she's out of the main event scene just because of all the talent that is in WWE. She was just in the main event scene, but after she lost, now she's out. And so WWE is trying to find kind of where do you put her? She was over in NXT, starting problems with Roxanne Perez and just doing other things, right? And she's still Bailey. She's still a very popular superstar, but now it's changed a little bit because it's not her turn to be in the main event scene. Lyra just became a champion. They're looking to push her. And what a better way to do that than what they're doing right now, putting her against somebody of the, you know, status of Bailey, right? Someone with that type of fan base and just, she brings legitimacy to this kind of rivalry. So we'll see what happens at the Elimination Chamber. But if she loses and then it's Lyra versus Bailey, I think that's a really good way to tell this story. I think that's the story they should tell. Maybe it'll be one at WrestleMania. I don't know. Maybe she fights Roxanne at WrestleMania or something. But I would be 100% down to have this battle because I think you have this women's intercontinental championship. You got to make this thing matter, and having someone like Bailey in the running for it, right? Someone like Bailey even competing for it will give it a sense of legitimacy. Especially, it's key to have these kind of secondary championships when you have the stacked main event scene you have now, because you're going to have people who are main eventers who aren't going to be able to be in the main event scene, and you like to have them competing still for championships. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. Right, everyone. So Chad Gable is currently off of WWE TV, as the storyline reasoning is he's going to fight luchadors basically and figure out how to beat them. This is from Wrestle Talk TV. The latest update on rumors of Chad Gable wrestling in AAA as part of his quest to conquer luchadors in his absence from WWE TV. This is from Brian Alvarez. By the way, the story with Chad Gable, he is not going to AAA, but how can I say this? I'll put it this way. He's not going to AAA, but there is a reason that story came out, and they did have a plan involving a luchador mentoring Chad Gable, but the fact is, it may or may not still be happening. So we don't know if he's going to be wrestling in AAA or not, but he's, this is what the storyline reasoning was. And you saw American Made, even though they didn't win the tag team championships, they ended up as heels do by getting disqualified and coming out on top, right? They were the ones who were standing in the ring after the match, even if they didn't win because of disqualification. So I can't wait to see Chad Gable returned. I think they really got to give him a big push. I think there's a lot American Made can do. I think they're a perfect heel faction in which everybody hates them right now. Everybody hates Chad Gable, and that extends to the rest of the faction. So if they can continue to do that, I think that'd be great. You know, you need those heel factions for every good baby face you have. You need those good heels, and I think Chad Gable, he's at the top of that list in my opinion of people who are just really big time wrestlers, and he's entertaining in the ring. You know, he's one of those guys who he could put on a match. You're just like, holy crap, that's professional wrestling. You know, that's not sports entertainment, that is professional wrestling, and he's still pretty good on the mic. So I'm hoping that's part of what we're going to see. But you know, I've been waiting for a while to kind of see this big Chad Gable push, and as a heel, I think he's doing a phenomenal job. So thank you all for watching. All right, everyone. So while on the Pat McAfee show, Hulk Hogan talked about the beef he has with Bret Hart. So we're reading here from Inside the Ropes Wrestling. Hulk Hogan opened up about his contentious relationship with Bret Hart. Bret Hart has never been one to hold back on his opinions on fellow stars, and his views on Hulk Hogan are no exception. Hart has called Hogan limited in the ring and expressed his taste for the Hulkster on a number of occasions. Speaking in a recent interview with Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee show, Hogan spoke about his relationship with Hart, saying that Hitman hates everybody. Here's what Hogan said: people either like me or they don't. There is no in between. A lot of people think I ran the show or I had the power of the pencil. I've heard Bret Hart say I destroyed his career because I had the pencil. He's hated Vince. He's hated Flair. He's hated Goldberg. He hates everybody. And I don't know where I fall in line there. Continuing, Hogan detailed the last time he and Hart crossed paths before insisting that he'd like to make up with the Hitman. The last time I saw him, I was in a WWE locker room and I was being called to go to Gorilla. I opened the door and Natty, who I love to death, was standing there with Bret. Hey Bret, how you doing? I shook his hand real quick. I don't think he realized I did it. I was gone before he realized it was me, I think. We haven't talked. I would love to make up. I love Bret to death. I think he's cool as hell. It is what it is with your career. I'll put it to you this way. If you could have done any better, you would have. Everybody makes their own deal. I'm not hating Vince McMahon because he did better than me. I hope to bury the hatchet. So, you know, look, it's tough to argue with the idea that Bret Hart dislikes a lot of people in WWE. You know, obviously his dislike for Goldberg and various others, you know, and I also think Hogan kind of glosses over why people within the company dislike him. You know, when you're viewed as the top guy, and I mean, look, someone like the Undertaker, who Undertaker doesn't really hate anybody. You know, he doesn't like Hogan, and the reasons are because you know when Hogan sees someone being an upstart, he kind of was doing dirty tricks behind the scenes to try to slow them down, or at least that's the perception, right? And you know, I don't know enough about it to say how true or how not true. A lot of these things could be true, a lot of them could not be true, but the fact that there is as much as there is, it shows you that there was at least that perception, right? And so that might be a reason why Bret doesn't like him. But I do think Bret, in general, when it pertains to WCW, just has a strong dislike for everything that happened over there because he views it as, you know, he got screwed in WWE because he went to WCW, and then you know the greatest era in the history of wrestling took place in WWE during that time, and he was in WCW for it, and they never used him properly. So you can only imagine the type of frustration he feels looking back at that. So thank you all for watching. All right, everyone. So this legend would like to fight Rhea Ripley. So Nikki Bella returned to the WWE at the 2025 Royal Rumble, and she wants to continue the fight. And so she was asked by fans who'd she like to wrestle in the future? Here's what she said. If I immediately look at something, just what Chelsea Green has been bringing to social media about the divas, stuff she has said in interviews, I immediately get turned on by that. Huh? She has been talking about the divas lately. Something like that would be really fun. Chelsea, of course. A dream match would be against Rhea. I would love to do that with Brie. When I think of my Ronda run for Evolution and those feels, something like that would be so fun to bring in, especially with Brie in the Bella Army. I felt like my run in against Ronda, it wasn't just about Ronda and I, it was also about Brie at my side and the Bella Lucian and the Bella Army being behind us. That would be something really fun to bring to Rhea because she has become the face of the women's division and has gone through so many women. Obviously, tag titles dangle in my mind. I would love to face a lot of tag teams in the division with Brie. There are so many amazing women, and we'll see different pairings at different times. There could be something fun there. I liked my little moment with Roxanne. I thought we can make magic happen too. I immediately think of something about meeting your heroes. Sometimes you always shouldn't, or you should. Who knows? So I think there's a lot there. You know, she's basically laying out to WWE. There's a lot of different things I would do. Now headline of it is, the fact that she would be willing to fight Rhea Ripley, but that's going to be in the main event scene. But the tag team division, that's a cool idea. Chelsea Green, that's a cool idea. There are just so many things that they could do with her, and I'm sure WWE will. It's just about timing. Right now, the women's division is stacked. And just like the men's division is stacked, the women's division is stacked. You just have talent on top of talent on top of talent. And even someone like Nikki Bella, it's not just an auto, let's bring her into the main event. So I would love to see kind of a tag team deal. I think that would be pretty cool, but we'll see what they end up doing. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. Right, everyone. So, talking to Adrian Hernandez of Unlikely, Rey Mysterio said this. Actually, WWE had to shut me down for a minute because I was getting too exaggerated. It's my logo. I'm just using their colors and maybe a Captain America star here and there in the gloves, but I don't change anything. With this outfit, I have a dope idea I want to put into work, and I'm hoping I'm able to bust it out. Overall, it's always been an inspiration. When I did the first one, I was in AAA. I did a Superman outfit. I used to wear tights and trunks over the tights, and the logo on the trunks had the Superman logo with the question mark and the colors. I just wore a red cape. People got what I was trying to do. I did Batman, Spider-Man, and I carried that with me to WWE until they told me, hey, maybe you've got to stop a little bit because we're getting cease and desist letters. You know, so look, I understand that you copyright and this kind of stuff. I understand it's important, right? Because if you didn't have these kind of lawsuits against people, then anybody could just utilize that, and there would be no room for deal making. You know, something like that. Marvel's like, hey, you got to pay us to do that. I get that, but in this situation, it just sucks. Because you're just like, man, that would be so cool. Letting Rey Mysterio kind of do whatever he wants and bring something that he was doing in the past into the WWE and continue to do it, but you do understand why the cease and desist letters, exist because, like I said, otherwise there'd be no deal making ever. These companies would create something and no one would ever be like, hey, let's make a deal so we can utilize that license. They'd be like, well, we'll just take it because there's no grounds with, there's nothing you can do about it. So I understand you need it. It just feels like one of those instances of you wish WWE could have worked something out or something like that and allowed him to continue to do it. Because I even know I remember like the Road Warriors who would always have that different face paint. I remember when I was little, you'd be playing the different WWE games, and one of the first things I'd do is I'd like, what type of face paint did they give Road Warrior Hawk an animal? And then there was one game, I think it was Legends of Wrestling, that had them in there with like four different colors that you could use. I just thought that was the coolest thing because you'd see all those old tapes and they'd always have the different face paint on it. Or you'd see on like even the toys in the store, they got the different face paint. And that was always so cool. But I understand it. I just thought this is a pretty funny story. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.
I think Jey Uso made the right choice. I think if Jey Uso would have chose Cody Rhodes, that would have told me that Jey Uso had no confidence in himself and did not think he could beat Gunther. Yeah, Gunther got the better of him on Saturday night's main event. He powerbombed him, got the 1, 2, 3. If I'm Jey Uso, I'm looking for that win back. I want to get my win back. I want to beat Gunther. Gunther is this, wrestler's wrestler. And after what happened on Monday Night Raw, when Jey Uso came out and Gunther attacked him from behind, like Jey didn't even seem like he was ready to make the decision, but he made the decision. And I love the decision that he made. And Vegas is going to be going absolutely ballistic if Jey is able to beat Gunther, become the new WWE World Champion with about 70,000 people yeeting in unison as they were at the Rumble.
So Bubba Ray's entirely correct with this. WWE made the right decision, and obviously he's kind of doing this interview, like wrestling isn't scripted, but I think there's some enjoyment in that. I don't see anything wrong with that, but Bubba Ray is 100% right. They made the right decision. If he went for Cody Rhodes, wouldn't have been anywhere near as good of a storyline as this is. And I just think that Gunther, losing his championship, like I said, I haven't been happy with this championship run by any means, but I don't actually blame Gunther for that. I do blame the WWE. I think they put him in these bad situations, and just kind of telling story all over the place. But that thing on Raw with Jey Uso, right? That moment when he comes out, he starts beating him up. That was the first moment where I said, this was the Gunther we should have had the whole time, right? A Gunther that is not this in between of a heel and a baby face, and he's kind of losing his confidence like he did against Damian Priest. Like, that's not the Gunther. This was the Gunther that we wanted and we should have been seeing this whole run. Someone who's vicious, someone who's, all about winning, and just your typical heel. And you saw the reaction to it when he attacked Jey Uso. So I'm really feeling like, although as a total, I don't think this has necessarily been the best title reign in the world with Gunther. And once again, I don't blame Gunther for that. I blame WWE for that. But I think it could end on a high note, and that might lead to Gunther kind of going through and using this character going forward, sticking to this type of character, and then when he does see the title again at some point, maybe we get a true title run from him. Because I just thought, in a way, it was kind of, it just wasn't told properly, in my honest opinion. I just think his title run has not been told properly, and this might be it, right? Seeing Gunther in this way, kind of just confident, but not confident in a way where you're, like some nice guy that's confident, just an overall dick, attacking him from behind and all of that. That's what I want to see more of. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, everyone. So we're reading here a tweet from WrestleOps. There are people within WWE that would rather Cody Rhodes defend the Undisputed Championship in a triple threat match against John Cena and CM Punk at WrestleMania 41 than Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. That's from WrestleVote's Q&A Backstage Pass. That's where they're sourcing it from. So I got to say, when I saw this tweet, first thing I did was look at the responses, because this thing got 1.1 million views. And the first thing I did was look in the responses, and I said, I don't support this at all. I love Cena versus Cody for the championship, but the comments were actually pretty supportive of it. So that made me go, whoa, okay, maybe I don't have the pulse as well as I thought of the WWE universe. But yeah, I don't support this at all. I don't understand why you would make that match a triple threat match. I love CM Punk. He's, obviously a main eventer, but there's no business of him being in that match, in my opinion. I don't mind the Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk, because everybody kind of hates each other. There's, I don't know, maybe some type of, the favor comes into play or something. I don't know, but I just want Cena versus Cody. I think that's the much better match. There was one point I read that made sense to me, though, which, let's see if I could find it here. Yeah, I don't see it, but so I'll just read basically what it could be. Basically, what the one person said was that it gives Cody a reason to lose without actually having being pinned, and I think that there's a level to that, right? When you have Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, well, Cody Rhodes is going to lose if they have John Cena going over, and if that's the case, then that's going to that takes a hit for Cody, right? There's no question about that. And so if you have a triple threat, you could have it so, maybe CM Punk uses the go to sleep on Cody Rhodes, and then Cena comes in and hits CM Punk with something. Just like you could do crazy endings that don't necessarily put all the blame onto one guy, and that makes some sense to me. If you're trying to, because this is the guy that still, even though Cena's going to be winning, if you have him win, you're still keeping the characters protected in a way. But I just don't think that should be it. I don't mind, like, having finding it a way not to have the other triple threat match and having CM Punk fight someone else, or having Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins go at it, or whatever it is. But I just don't love, to be completely honest with you, I just do not love the idea of having a triple threat match for championship. But I could be way wrong on that. I certainly wouldn't be like, oh, it's not to the level of Rock versus Roman of last year where you're just pissed about it. I just think if you're going to have Cena win this championship, have it be 1 versus 1. I think triple threat matches they're good, but they're a lot tougher to pull off. So thank you all for watching.